When I first started watching 100 meters, I honestly didn't expect much beyond a sports anime. Fast races, rivalries, and pressure are all normal in such an anime. But somewhere along the line, the story quietly changed its shape. And that change didn't come from the protagonist. It came from a character who shows up very late in the anime. It was so late that I didn't expect him to matter much. And that character's name is Kaido. For the majority of the anime, the spotlight stays on the protagonist, Togashi. He's talented, well-known, and has always been that guy. So naturally, you think the story belongs to him. But then Kaido enters, already older and written off by most people. And somehow, without any flashy build-up, he delivers one of the most important life lessons I have seen in any anime. For a brief moment, I genuinely forgot about Togashi and felt like Kaido was the real hero of this story. In the anime, Kaido is known as Forever Second. Not because he is weak, not because he lacks discipline, but because for 15 long years, there has always been someone standing just one step ahead of him. Kaido is elite and respected, yet he has never been crowned, and that's a cruel place to live in. Because second place doesn't allow excuses. You can't say you don't belong, you can't say it was impossible. You were right there, close enough to taste victory, far enough to never touch it. And Kaido has been living in that reality for a long time. There's a moment where Kaido is invited to speak publicly. People applaud him and they respect his longevity. He calmly says something that instantly tells you what kind of man he is. He talks about how he still considers himself in his prime, how he keeps chasing personal best every year, and how reality doesn't magically change on its own. He openly acknowledges that Zetsu has been sitting on that throne for too long and that this year he will deal with that reality himself. And this already sets him apart. Later, Togashi approaches him and asks a very simple but heavy question about how to deal with reality. Kaido's first answer sounds obvious. He says that you just need to keep on breaking records. Togashi felt the weight of that answer immediately because it's easy to say and brutally difficult to live. Kaido notices this and doesn't dismiss him. Instead, he shares his own story. He talks about how running always came naturally to him as a kid, how he was unbeatable in his region, and how losing didn't even exist in his vocabulary until nationals humbled him for the first time, because that's when Zetsu appeared. A first-year student, younger and faster, and from that day onward, Kaido's life changed. For the next 15 years, his reality became very simple and very cruel. No matter how hard he tried, Zetsu was always one step ahead. Kaido never stopped improving, but he never reached the first place either, and that's how he earned the name Forever Second. What makes it worse is that time doesn't stop. While he's chasing the same rival year after year, a new generation starts rising behind him. Younger and hungrier runners. He even admits becoming bored of seeing others say that it's a shame you weren't born in another era. As if his entire life can be dismissed with bad timing. And yet, despite drowning in this reality, Kaido never stops believing that he can win the next race. When Togashi asks why, Kaido responds with the line that defines his entire philosophy. He says, you can escape from reality. At first, it sounds confusing. Escaping reality usually sounds like denial, pretending things aren't bad. It's like lying to yourself. But Kaido means the opposite. For him, escaping reality doesn't mean ignoring facts. It means refusing to give up on himself. It means choosing his own meaning rather than accepting the meaning what others offer to him. He tells Togashi that as long as you understand why you run, you can escape any reality you are stuck in. Later in the movie, when Togashi returns and says that he has figured out his motive for running, which is to help others rather than to win, Kaido doesn't mock him, he respects it. However, he also gently points out something crucial. He says that unless you truly understand your reality, you cannot escape it. Standing still with your eyes closed isn't the same as running with your eyes open. Facing reality is terrifying because it forces you to accept things you don't want to accept. But if your eyes are closed, you are not moving forward at all. You are just standing still, calling it progress. This idea hits hard because it applies far beyond sports. And then comes the race we are waiting for. Kaido lines up alongside Zetsu, the man who has haunted him for 15 years, and Komiya, the new rising star everyone is talking about. The crowd isn't even discussing Kaido anymore. It's all Zetsu versus Komiya. Kaido hears it, smiles, and casually says something that hurts more than it sounds. He says, "Does this mean I am not even in the game?" That line feels painfully real, because that's what reality often does. It doesn't insult you directly, it simply pretends you are irrelevant. The race then begins. Kaido runs just behind them. He sees both rivals ahead and calmly says to himself, "So, this is my reality." No panic, no denial, and eyes wide open. And then he decides, if this is my reality, then it's time to escape it. He gives everything he has. He overtakes both rivals and wins the race. Komiya comes second and Zaitsu finishes far behind. And it's not just a win, Kaido records the second fastest time in Japan's history. What matters more than the results is what he proves to himself. He breaks the reality that imprisoned him for 15 years, not by closing his eyes but by opening them wider than anyone else. Even when he later loses again, it doesn't erase what he has achieved, because Kaido's reality was never to be the best. Rather, his reality was, I can never beat him. And once that broke, the level forever second lost its power. And this is where the lesson becomes real life. Escaping reality doesn't mean your problems disappear. It doesn't mean you suddenly become number one. It means that reality no longer gets to decide who you are. I can relate to this deeply with my own YouTube journey. Over the last month, I have been inconsistent and posted less videos. As a result, views dropped and growth stopped, and that's my reality. Ignoring analytics, pretending everything is fine, or blaming the algorithm would be standing still with my eyes closed. And earlier, I would have tried to escape that by making excuses, blaming luck, or convincing myself that it doesn't matter. But Kaido's philosophy changed how I look at it. I chose to accept my reality, but I refused to accept the conclusion that it defined my ability or my future. My escape wasn't pretending everything was fine. My escape was to keep creating, learning, and showing up while fully conscious of where I was. That's the Kaido mindset. Escaping reality doesn't mean leaving it behind. It means refusing to let it decide who you are. And that's why Kaido, despite appearing so late in the anime, felt like the real hero to me. Not because he won one race, but because he taught something far more important than victory. He showed that even if you're always almost there, you still get to choose how you run. So don't close your eyes and pray that things change. Instead, look straight at your reality, accept it, and run anyway, because as long as your eyes are open, you are still in the race. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.